Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows. Today, I want to talk about Hunger. It's a new Thai film released on Netflix. I apologize in advance for all of the names I'm about to badly pronounce. It was written by Kongdej Jaturanrasamy and directed by Siddhasiri Mangkolsiri. The story follows a young cook named Oi, played by Chudiman Chungcharon Sukying, as she learns about the world of fine dining from the world-class chef Paul, played by Nopachai Chayanam. The story follows her journey from her family's noodle restaurant to the top of the cooking world and teaches us about the lifestyle and culture that surrounds it. It's a tense experience that draws out each and every moment and really lets the audience sit with the subject matter. It's also a very long movie at almost 3 hours in runtime. The length is a bit much, but no part of the story feels superfluous and I wasn't bored at any point. The scenes are intense in the way they're constructed, and it can often be hard to look away. It doesn't use a lot of characters, instead focusing on 3 main characters and a few side ones that are used more for contrast than how they push the plot forward. It really fleshes out Oi and Chef Paul as people and delves deep into the mindset of those who strive to be famous. It also shows how their obsession and actions can hurt and warp the minds of those around them. It plays with a couple of strong themes and uses a number of metaphors to compare and contrast different philosophies on life. The meta-commentary is incredibly well done and integrates perfectly into the discussion around food and hunger. The story at times can be a little bit silly, i.e. there are scenes where something unrealistic happens in order to have a dramatic movie moment. These scenes can make you roll your eyes a little, but they usually fit well with the flow of the story despite their silliness. Like at one point, everyone in a crowded room gets an alert and sees the same message on their phones. They then all turn on one person. It's just a news story, so how did they all get it sent to them at the same time? It doesn't make sense. But it works to show that the characters were all kind of vapid and would turn on a dime. The cast is small, but there are several standout performances, with the general cast doing a great job of their roles. The 3 big performances in my mind were Chudiman Chungcharon Sukying as Oi, Nopachai Chayanam as Chef Paul, and Gun Svastna Ayuda as Tone. Oi is a talented and somewhat stoic young woman. She works in her father's restaurant, and when presented with the opportunity to do something greater, she gets a ravenous look in her eye. Chudiman plays the emotions of the role in a more subtle manner. She constantly appears guarded, but also shows enough on her face that you always roughly know where her thoughts are at. She does an amazing job of standing up to Chef Paul, and at the end when she opens up, it was quite touching. Nopachai's Chef Paul is an intense character resembling Terrence Fletcher from Whiplash, an insanely dedicated chef that is also a terrible person to be around. He's rude, he's impatient, and he constantly puts others down. He suffocates the room with his presence and makes precise movements with everything he does. The one time he opens up, he almost seems human again, like there's some kind of method to his madness, but as time goes on, we're shown just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Nopachai's performance is captivating, his charisma in the role is off the charts, and I hope to see this guy in more. Gun Svastna Ayuda's Tone doesn't get as much screen time as Oi or Chef Paul, but serves as the perfect foil to both of them. He's a soft and gentle character that is horrified by the true nature of Chef Paul's kitchen. Gunn plays him in a more timid way and does a fantastic job of displaying his emotions through his body language. When Oi comes to see him later in the film, you could tell how disappointed he was in himself without him saying a word. Visually, it is an exciting and captivating journey. It really settles into each moment and lets the audience take in the atmosphere and the weight of the dialogue. It's got real set pieces that are vibrant and filled to the brim with detail. They contrast the levels of wealth the different characters possess in a visually striking way, and there's a lot of energy and movement in the camera work. It's got these great cooking performances at regular intervals that keep things exciting and delicious looking. It also uses a number of creative and interesting visual metaphors. For example, it likes to focus on how different groups of people eat. Poor eat in a simple manner, enjoying the taste of their food and eating normally. When the rich eat, they devour their meals like pigs, bragging afterward that they barely chewed. It hyper-focuses on their mouth and the animalistic way that they eat, and it creates this feeling of disgust in the audience. It plays wonderfully into the themes of the film. Sound-wise, they make masterful use of background instrumentals to follow along with and amplify every emotion in the story. There are moments when it becomes the primary storytelling device, like during one scene where there's a rising beat to indicate the building tension in the mind of a character. It also does a great job of backing the big moments and building out the atmosphere. During the cooking performances, the music is intense and draws out the primal meaning behind the chef's philosophy. The way they used music to contrast Oi and Chef Paul during the cook-off at the end was a huge standout. His music is like the darkness to her music's light. Overall, I found Hunger to be a long and intense experience. Oi and Chef Paul are both amazing characters that engage in a grueling battle of wills, and in the process the film managed to make me think a lot about what it means to have ambition. The acting was impressive, the visuals were captivating, and the soundtrack was pulling emotions out of me that I didn't know I had. It doesn't really experiment all that much, but it is high quality work. 8 out of 10. And remember, those are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye bye.